Alright. Yeah. More of King Von being Rap's first serial killer. Also, DJ Academic copyrighted the last part, and it's like, how are you copyrighting it? It literally says it's been copyrighted by DJ Academic's reaction to Trap Law's documentary. So surely the person who should be copywriting would be Trap Law, but it's what it is. Let's go. The murder of Can't Get Right.
While King Von was in jail, numerous people from O Block ended up getting killed. Perhaps it was precisely because their most fearless shooter was in jail that so many people ended up passing while he was gone. Von was particularly hurt by the killing of T-Roy, his right-hand man, and after T-Roy was killed, a new set of gangsters would form in O Block who went by the name Get Back Gang. This was a hardened crew of shooters whose sole focus was to get revenge or get back for the murder of T-Roy and other beloved O Block natives who had been killed while Von was in jail. Another one of these fallen O Block affiliates was Chino, who was shot dead on the 17th of July 2016. Another, Big A, was gunned down in a restaurant near O Block on the 4th of December 2016. Get Back Gang would be on a killing spree trying to avenge their fallen friends, looking to kill anyone who played a role in their demise. Poppy, believed to have been involved in hits against O Block, would be gunned down at work on the 16th of June 2017, allegedly being shot in the head by an O Block member called Heck, who would go on to be known by the nickname HK or Headshot King. HK was T-Roy's brother and would reportedly avenge him, with T-Roy's alleged killer TB or Terry Barry being shot dead on the 26th of December 2017. However, HK himself would end up being killed in O Block 2 just before Von got out of jail on the 24th of November 2017. Another person who seemingly lost their life to Get Back Gang's revenge campaign during this time would be FBG Brick, FBG Doug's brother, rumoured to have played a role in giving up T-Roy's location to the ops the day he was killed, with Brick and his friend Kobe being gunned down in a Get Back Gang attack on the 17th of July 2017. In fact, many of these murders played out in 2017 whilst Von was still behind bars for the murder of Malcolm Stuckey, and when Von got out, despite becoming a rapper, spending time in Atlanta with Lil Durk, and seemingly taking a step away from the gang war, Von would still seem to be looked at as a senior figure and shot caller to members of O Block and Get Back Gang. And when they killed again, King Von would be on the sidelines celebrating the murder as if it was one of his own. On June the 13th, 2018, King Von would tweet saying that there's a new rule. You can only diss or smoke a dead person that you yourself actually killed. Only days after that tweet, Get Back Gang would unfortunately claim another life. The next unlucky person to be killed would be a St. Lawrence native by the name of Can't Get Right, aka Man Man, real name DeAndre Wallace. On June the 15th, 2018, around 9:50 PM, Can't Get Right is waiting for food outside of a store on 400 block of East 63rd Street. At a certain point, two people pulled up and waited outside, and when the target was spotted, those two men ran up, opening fire, killing both the target as well as an innocent bystander that was just there sweeping up outside the restaurant. And once again, the shooting and immediate aftermath were captured on CCTV footage and by witnesses in clips that are far too grisly to show you on YouTube. Both men shot in the incident were pronounced dead at the University of Chicago Hospital, with the news even later reporting on this assassination.
Morning are looking for the gunman who killed two men overnight. They were standing outside of a store in the city's Woodlawn neighborhood when someone started shooting. A 43-year-old man was shot in the chest. He died at the hospital. The other victim, a 22-year-old, also died. Police say the 22-year-old is a known gang member and was the intended target.
King Von would go live on the same day as this double murder alongside Memo 600 while still in Atlanta with Lil Durk's team. And in this live, King Von would set out to poke fun at his murdered rivals immediately after they were killed. And let's not forget, only days before this, King Von tweeted that you can't disrespect the dead unless you played a role in killing them. With that in mind, King Von's livestream after the murder was truly a masterclass in self-incrimination. They would start the live off lighting a blunt and saying that their smoking can't get right and asking the viewers what just happened.
There you go, can't get right. There you go, there you go. Cause I can't get right.
Alright, everybody, not at one time. What just happened? What just happened?
A lot of glizzies and F's.
Oh, you right there with your hand. You tell me what happened. Who got killed? That's what I'm asking y'all. Who got killed, gang?
Yeah.
Can't get right, got killed.
Word. Can't get right, got
Hey, somebody show me a picture. I don't think I know y'all talking about. Is this can't get...
Is that can't get right? Hold on, is this him? Is this can't get right?
This ain't called snitching. I'm just trying to get verified. You get verification.
From here, people start commenting, can't get up. And it seems that the O Block hitters are so amused by this wordplay, they essentially confess to being involved in the murder on the spot.
They tell us can't get up. Oh no.
some shit before we do it. They beat us to it every time.
Y'all should start killing people.
Oh, me.
Cause y'all be doing this. You doing the that.
Oh, Steve, this thing crazy.
After this, we see the crew say that it's 2 people down and that they're going to have to roll another one, whoever it is, seemingly unaware that it was an innocent cleaner who was killed in the incident.
They said 2 down. Dang.
2 men, that nah, I can't
On
take
David,
2.
they said it on both our lives.
I could barely
On
take
David. 2 pieces? I can take one. Somebody roll another one.
Can't take
Whoever else got hit.
They even started reacting mockingly to the ops posting long tributes to their fallen friend on Instagram in real time in this live.
See that paragraph under that picture, you know it's over.
Damn, best friend, you just told me to pop out.
I remember back in the days when you
just told me to pop out, best friend. Why the f you do me like this? You bogus as hell. We ain't try to.
They
Shut
gonna
up.
be dissing you. You know, you better not get done like that.
From here, Von...
I don't know how this is, unless he's going to explain, but I don't know how this is him in a masterclass of self-snitching. Because they're not even there. They're not even in Chicago. They're in Atlanta. I mean, is it a crime to laugh about someone's death? If you can't libel the dead, you shouldn't. Why can't you laugh? Like, if you say something about a dead person and it's a lie, you can't get prosecuted, you can't get slander or nothing like that. They're just happy that someone they beef with is dead. But they weren't there, so I don't know how this is self-snitching unless he's gonna say add something new. But I don't see this as how this is self-snitching.
friends would continue mocking the ops by specific block and saying that the FN gave him a fresh fade like Lil Boosie.
Steady taking losses. STL, steady taking losses. Motherfucker gave him a fresh fade, Boosie Boost.
They fuck little folks up.
Fresh fade. Why did they even put him on Front Street like he was even like that, though?
Then King Von comes back and says straight up that Man must have known he was going to die and that no one will care he's gone.
He probably knew he was gonna die.
BD.
I wish I could talk to him for that. Don't nobody even care about Can't Get Right like that. I don't think they gonna slide like that. I don't think nothing finna happen because of that. So
They finna waste the rest of their money on that.
we ain't even gonna act like nothing finna happen. Just y'all go in the house.
Doug gotta pay for it.
Whoever ain't get shot, you lucky today. I'm finna go out. It's over.
After this, they even started reliving the hit, saying that their ops aren't used to somebody jumping out of the car and firing at them non-stop.
You ain't used to somebody just popping out a cut for real.
Looking at your ass.
Really on your ass. You just get the flap past your you just want to do like one of these because you acting like you fake tough. But get the hitting you, damn, this shit, I can't move.
Crump getting that there, little fool, they got you too.
Whilst King Von is on live bragging about this hit from another city, O-Block members Moowop posted a picture on Instagram with fellow member Duke saying that they are shooters. Meanwhile, E-Dog from O-Block jumped on Twitter to say that the get back is not over. Just the day after the murder, King Von tweeted saying that the stakes are higher now than ever and that the police have their eye on him. Von later tweeted claiming that his brothers made the new op pack, literally giving direct responsibility for this murder to his team. It seemed clear at this point that Von was not only happy about the killing that his friends from O-Block were doing, but he was actively encouraging it, and quite possibly the one giving the orders. Friends of Man would post outright saying that they believed King Von paid for the hit.
Doing all that, tap him up and see if he can get up and all that goof ass. You know what I'm talking about too.
Whoa. Do you guys feel that it was somebody from the other side that may have did it, or you think it was like a random act of violence?
Y'all watch
just in
this
the
shit.
city
Why
of
is that this nigga
Chicago?
snitching?
You know, did it, man. All these in the city did it, man.
Okay.
That hate us. But they ain't gonna step outside them gates though. Cause they know. King Von. We gonna say his name. King Von.
But Von honestly didn't seem to care about anything at this point, and despite...
I don't get that. You need to actually have some type of evidence. He's saying that, yeah, all right, he's encouraging it, and what have you. But I don't see, like, unless you can argue that they did it out of respect for him. But it just seems like everybody from that area is with it anyway. That's just what it seems. So, like, I don't know. I think linking King Von to that, like, he's not even in the city. Like encouraging it and whatever, I guess that's bad. But like he didn't do it. You need actually some bit of evidence to throw out that King Von paid.
Fact that word was spreading that he was the shot caller in Get Back Gang's murders, Von wasn't trying to keep this a secret. In fact, he was ready to broadcast that message to millions of people, because on July the 31st, 2018, Lil Durk's Only the Family Involved Volume 1 compilation album releases. The project featured many of Lil Durk's friends, including King Von, whose new song Problems would be included in the project, with this entire track being all about Von having hitters that catch bodies for him, even warning people, do not get bodied by me. The song essentially tells the story of O-Block shooters killing people on Von's command. The song also featured an intro where he shouted out Get Back Gang, and there were lyrics.
But he did say they're getting bodies for me. Like I said, obviously King Von is respected in that area. So just because they say they did it, like, you can't do it for someone without them having to tell you. Do you know what I mean?
Killing both the target and witnesses. Von would rap that killing is his hobby, and he says that his loyal shooters are the ones catching bodies for him. Von would also tease a music video for this track, which ended up dropping on Lil Durk's official YouTube channel on August the 9th, King Von's 24th birthday. Meanwhile, Lil Durk was impressed with King Von's murder raps, tweeting that Von was next up to break into the rap game. And this would be followed by Von telling fans that he would soon be dropping music with Lil Durk himself, and saying that he would be switching up and not associating with anyone he used to know.
Once this song with Dirk drop, I'm acting like I don't know none of y'all. I'm acting for money. I'm changing up.
Durk was clearly seeing the potential in King Von's music, and from here, the two of them would be seen together on social media, having a good time and getting the fans more and more familiar with Durk's newest prospect.
Yeah, what the think you talking about bodies and like that? Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy, come on, man. Get your cat dog looking ass on. Get your rat looking, big mouse looking ass on. Mickey Mouse. Damn.
Von was beginning to lay the foundations for a successful rap career, but he also continued to be reckless. Around this time, Von is seen in a viral Instagram live clip telling a small child on O-Block to disrespect Tuka and training him to shoot people in the head with a water pistol.
Shoot him in his head. Shoot him in his head. You got a point right here. Boom. Say it. Gotta shoot him in his head. Shoot him. Shoot him. Say Tuka. Tuka. You shot Tuka? Say Tuka, man. Shoot him again. Shoot him in his head.
After this, Von would tweet about having killers around him and posting pictures of his whole crew. And as Von's popularity grew, people would eventually annotate these pictures, speculating on how many people each O-Block member had killed. Naturally, all of this reckless behaviour on social media brought even more police attention onto O-Block. By the end of August 2018, the block is hot, and King Von is seen on live observing arrests taking place on O-Block itself, even saying that he has his shoes tied in case he needs to run.
And I got my shoes tied. I'm getting out of there. They trying to find the secret recipe to the Krabby Patty secret plankton. They trying to find the secret formula to the Krabby Patty recipe. Damn, they took the truck. No, they ain't take the truck. Ain't. Traffic man skirt. We gonna get another. We rich. Y'all can have that one. That's the one we don't even like. They're trying to see what we on. Talking about what's going on. Somebody gangbanging with us, BDK. Took the sprinter.
Von would tweet about not wanting to discuss murders on camera and suggesting that at this point the gang war must be over. But as we'd later find out, the war would be far from over. While King Von was making a name for himself as a rapper, still commanding his shooters from O-Block, he would continue to be associated with serious crimes from a distance, with the next incident involving one of his longest running enemies and a feared op of O-Block's, Wooski.
Hold on 2 seconds.
King Von.
I don't know. I think this trap law is like. Do you know what I mean? You're taking little snippets of things that kind of fit your narrative. Like the saying, King Von seen here on an Instagram live training a boy to shoot in the head with a water pistol. It's like, no, he ain't. He's just playing. And obviously, yeah, to someone who's not a part of that world, it seems crazy, but it's just what they are. Do you know what I mean? He, like, yeah, it's not like he was training him. He was just playing with the kid, basically. Just saying, do you know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't training him to shoot in the head. I think that's like a kind of a reach. Because you say that, especially to little boys. Little boys love shooting anything. Anything. When I was younger, I had a BB gun. It was my favourite thing on the planet. Literally, I loved it. But yeah, 2 seconds, I'll be back. I'll edit it anyway, don't worry. Sweet. Alright, let's carry on. Let's go.
Started out October 2018 strong, fresh off the back of his song and music video Problems, where he appeared to celebrate his gang murdering O-Block rival Can't Get Right. Von would continue pushing his career forward, dropping a full music video for his first song, Beat That Body with THF Bezu, which featured an intro where they both walked out of jail together. Outside of the music, Von was also beginning to notice the many videos being made about him and his past, even resharing a YouTube video breaking down his Twitter beef with FBG Duck, seemingly unhappy. Clearly Von was monitoring his reputation on social media and cultivating his brand as the toughest rapper out, doing all of this whilst real violent crimes would continue to play out on the streets of Chicago where he was from. Just before 4 PM on October the 9th, 2018, Chicago rapper Wooski the Man, real name Ventrice Chris, would be shot in the head on the 5600 block of South Michigan Avenue, apparently the result of a drive-by carried out by a passing brown vehicle. The evening before the murder took place, Von would tweet that there's a dark cloud over Chicago. King Von would go on live a few days later with Lil Durk, saying that he's smoking Wooski, KI, Tuka, and P5.
A lot of Tuka men in the ass like that.
Gang.
A lot of fat heads of Wooski in the L, a lot of KI in the L.
E-Dog in them.
A lot of P5 in them in the L. Dyke bitch big A in the L. Okay, he got his foot up.
Know what's going on,
Put
man.
your foot down.
Hey, niggas know.
Oh,
Hey, ain't shit changed, man.
you a gangster. Only gangsters eat that.
You a P, what you on?
You look nice. You looking real like
You
it's
look
Channel
like a
Left.
PG like us, a player gangster.
Damn, Channel Left man.
Violence was continuing to play out in the streets, and Von was loving it, because he would continue taking the details of killings his crew were allegedly involved in and placing them into musical gangbanging anthems. Just after a week after the Wooski shooting on October the 18th, he dropped a new song called War With Us, notable for lyrics that appear to take credit for the murder of female driller KI, as well as lines dissing Tuka, and Von ending the song literally saying that he is a hitman. Von was dangerous, but now he was beginning to make it as a rapper. He wanted the whole world to know just how dangerous he really was. And one of the biggest enemies he wanted to get even with is a Tukaville GD by the name of Wooski. Von and Wooski had been going back and forth all the way back to 2012, when Von was catching bodies in Chicago. Von and Wooski had an infamous exchange on Twitter after trying to catch each other lacking at the local convenience store. Von would tweet at Wooski, bragging about people Wooski knew who Von or his friends had killed, something that Wooski would do back to Von in response. In one shocking back and forth in 2012, Von even bragged to Wooski that he had more bodies and attempts than him, with the two arguing about who would end up getting killed first. Not only did Von and Wooski's feud in the streets run deep all the way back before 2012, but now that Von was trying to make it as a rapper, he would be contending with the likes of Wooski picking up a microphone too, with Wooski having dropped the very disrespectful song Computers at the start of 2018, a track that featured numerous lyrics insulting dead O-Block affiliates like Big A, J Money, White, Chino, and OD Perry. Wooski even ended the song saying that they're on the hunt for the killers of Poppy and TB, two of the prominent murders seemingly committed by O-Block's Get Back gang. So, the beef between Von and Wooski was incredibly personal, and Wooski was also very close with the recently deceased Wooski, with them having made the song Shooters together. Just a few days after Wooski was killed, King Von and others from O-Block would FaceTime Wooski, telling him that they were going to catch him by surprise.
This your big brother, yeah, you know the That's your big brother, you know.
I wish I could say one of y'all was my boy. We got all goofies over there.
I ain't tell you what to do it tonight on
What's y'all off the courage? What made y'all do it tonight?
Listen, we gon' surprise.
You talking about tonight?
We gon' surprise, bro.
Some bitches out for the free. But you talking about tonight?
So, from here, it seems like Wooski's ops hatched up a plot to shoot up Dooski's funeral because they knew that he would be there. On the afternoon of the 22nd of October, at Dooski's funeral, soon after this picture is taken, a car turns up. People jump out of that car and begin shooting into the crowd outside the church, firing indiscriminately, but looking specifically to kill Wooski. 6 people were hit in this shooting, with Wooski himself being shot in the head, but he would miraculously survive. Only a few days after the shooting, Von would begin tweeting, I kid you not, comparing himself to Jesus, and then tweeting, laugh now, cry later, and game over, we won, with fellow O-Block shooter Muwop retweeting and agreeing with this. Over the next few years, Von would go on to drop numerous disrespectful lyrics referencing the shooting of Wooski, like on the track Grandson for President, where he raps that Wooski got shot in his head and now has to take medicine for his injuries. Von would rap on the song GTA, Who Shot Wooski, How Would I Know? Von also rapped on the track Go and Get 'Em that he will be at your funeral on time to give your mother a tissue. And then there's the lyrics on his track Back Again, where he literally says that he slides at funerals, shoots everyone outside, and that Wooski is going to feel this one, going on to say, I bet Wooski's still twitching, he changed, something different. Those are some of the most disrespectful lyrics I have ever come across, but it's also incredibly self-incriminating. It's honestly insane that Von was getting away with stuff like this.
I'm telling you now, that ain't shit compared to Absaf's Tables Turn 2. That's the most disrespectful thing. Like, that's truly disgusting. Check that tune out. Yeah, Absaf. It's a reply to Dig D's, very similar to this type of story.
Really was this kind of raw and real content that attracted so many people to his music, whether or not they even knew what he was talking about. From here, Von would continue to mock Wooski throughout his career, posting disrespectful pictures to him on Instagram on a regular basis. But ultimately, despite being literally shot in the head, Wooski is still alive today in 2023 and still posting on Instagram. In fact, Wooski would indeed outlive King Von, just like he had promised him on Twitter in 2012, the day before Boss Trell died. But for the time being, Wooski would take a step back from the beef with Von and O-Block, and a newly charged King Von would go all in on his rap career, continuing to roll with Lil Durk and going on to record song after song about living the lifestyle of a shot-calling killer. But unfortunately for Lil Durk, rolling with this loose cannon would soon be causing him problems too, and it would only be a matter of months after the funeral shooting that Lil Durk would find himself in a car with a trigger-happy King Von, perhaps succumbing to peer pressure and picking up a gun of his own, with Lil Durk making a split-second decision that would nearly cost him his career and freedom. The month after the shooting at Dooski's funeral, which critically injured Wooski, King Von seemed to be worried about his reputation, tweeting that the past is always coming back to haunt him, and saying that he's not a murderer, not a rapper, not a scammer, just handsome. But also tweeting that if you play with him on the internet, he's going to your house. Perhaps behind the scenes, Von was beginning to struggle to manage his reputation. Now he was becoming a legitimate rapper in the music industry, he might have been worried about his past as a killer getting in the way of his new plans. Von said that he was having nightmares during this time, and that he was popping pills to cope. There'd be a few interesting exchanges around this time too, like a Twitter conversation between Von and his baby mama, where Von joked that he would put her on the news, and then backtracking, having to deny being a killer. At this point, Von was clearly concerned about his reputation, and was on edge to even joke about being a killer. But one person who wasn't worried about Von's reputation was Lil Durk, who was doing everything he could to put King Von on during this time. In mid-November 2018, Lil Durk previews King Von's upcoming song, Crazy Story, on his Instagram. Fans knew that something huge was coming. Lil Durk was taking Von to parties to rub shoulders with other huge rappers in the industry like YNW Melly and Roddy Ricch, even taking an enthusiastic King Von to the studio to hang out with Gunna.
Hey, Durk, yo, Gunna, Shalom. Okay, took him, man.
Durk would even bring King Von along to his interviews, with Lil Durk's November 2018 visit to the Breakfast Club being one of the first times that the mainstream music-listening public got a glimpse of King Von, and this would end up being a legendary appearance. Clearly doing all he could to put the spotlight on his friend and artist, Durk had brought Von onto one of the most famous rap interview shows in the world.
What's your artist name, bro?
King Von.
What's up, sir?
What's up with you?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Durk would tell Charlemagne that he wanted to sign Von because of the backstory behind him, with Charlemagne not being quite prepared for the realness when Von started talking about beating his murder charge.
What made you want to sign King Von?
Cause he got a whole story behind him.
What's the story? What's your story?
My story, I just got out of jail for just beat a body in 2 attempts. Like,
So you was in jail for 2 murders?
yeah, 1 murder and 2 attempts. I just beat.
How you beat that?
What you mean?
I mean, you didn't do it clearly. But I mean,
like, you know, jury, yeah, look, you know.
In the interview, you could visibly see Lil Durk trying to look out for Von, and covering his tracks after Charlemagne began asking Von if he actually did the murder, with Durk butting in, saying that Von beat it because he didn't do it.
You gonna beat it. You gonna beat it if you didn't do it. That's all.
Von would go on to say that he can't get a normal job in Chicago because he's done so much dirt in the streets that if he was seen working a normal job, he would probably be killed on sight.
It's like, I can't work no job in Chicago, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same.
Why couldn't you work a job in Chicago?
I got a face card. Like, I can't.
Oh, I got you. People
like,
know you.
Say if I'm behind the counter at McDonald's, somebody coming out there, do something crazy.
Yeah.
Then, at the end of the interview, as Von was explaining to Charlemagne that he had no plans after jail because he's got no experience doing anything, suddenly Durk begins to cough, seemingly giving Von an indication not to say anything incriminating about his former life as a killer.
What other plans did you have other than rap?
I ain't had no plan. That's the thing. Like, you get out, you got a lot of shit on your mind, so you getting that what to do. It's like back to the streets.
Have you ever
No experiences doing nothing. I ain't, you know.
Word.
This interview was also the perfect opportunity for Von to promote his upcoming hit song, Crazy Story.
Crazy Story drop like sometime this week coming up. Sometime like any day.
Von would go on to tease the music video for Crazy Story, telling fans that he has a movie coming. And he would even surprise himself with the amount of comments that he got on the post about the song. Von would go on to release the audio for Crazy Story on December the 6th, 2018, just one day before the 1-year anniversary of him beating his murder case. Von would claim around this time to be making chess moves in the hopes that he would win at life, and his next move would indeed be a big one, with the full-blown music video for Crazy Story dropping on WorldStar on the 11th of December. Von himself would be amazed at racking up a whopping 110,000 views in his first day, but the appeal of Crazy Story was undeniable. It was a storytelling type song where Von would use his lyrics to tell an entire narrative, telling the story of himself plotting an armed robbery on a rich drug dealer and using a woman to set them up. But the robbery would go wrong when Von's ops caught him lacking, with the track ending in a shootout, and the entire story playing out in the cinematic music video for the song, with Von playing the main character and narrator. Von would end the song dropping his iconic final line where he introduced the world to his regular catchphrase, rapping from 64th and from 65th, we not from 63rd, shouting out O-Block on 64th and 65th King Drive, and dissing his ops from 63rd and St. Lawrence and Eberhart Avenues, aka Tuckerville. Dissing 63rd would become a massive part of Von's brand, and he would even later be seen selling merch showing the street sign for 63rd with a big cross over it. And the popularity of the song Crazy Story had Von's fans all over the world dissing 63rd without really even knowing what it means. Crazy Story was distributed by Lil Durk's OTF label and racked up a whopping 3 million views in a week. This is a huge hit, and today it sits over 69 million views on YouTube. Von was on a high after dropping Crazy Story. The week after the release, he would tweet a picture with the caption saying that people see you shining and forget that you're dangerous. And from here, he would make numerous tweets suggesting that the money was finally rolling in. At the end of December 2018, Durk would hop on an Instagram live with Von with a big stack of money celebrating the success of their release.
Oh, what's that?
I got a drop on the flex. He from Tennessee.
What that is? Confetti in your hand?
I'm playing, boy.
Don't throw that. Hey, you gonna break some of that out. Don't throw that.
Then in the new year, King Von would begin performing his hit song at live shows, even reacting on Twitter to his new song playing on the radio, suggesting that some people might have been shocked when they heard him coming out of their car stereo. Von felt like he had truly made it at this point, tweeting that even his mother was finally proud of him and saying that he felt truly blessed for the position that he had reached in life. But some people in Chicago were surprised. Now King Von was being played on the radio, doing interviews with The Breakfast Club, and becoming a household name, some people who knew him in Chicago for being a ruthless shooter were giving the side eye. There was actually a really interesting Reddit thread, asking people who knew of Von before 2017 to share what they thought when they saw him getting success in the music industry. Some said that they thought when he first started rapping he wouldn't get anywhere, but then when he kept progressing, it seemed like his life was a real movie. Whilst another person would say, 100% I could not believe it. When Durk took him on Breakfast Club, it was so surreal, and he almost admitted to murder on there too. But still, I never thought he would blow up. Then Crazy Story came out and started picking up steam, and it was like, dear God, this literal gang assassin is being played at NFL stadiums. Off the back of the success of Crazy Story, King Von would begin going even harder in his music, with his next track getting even more disrespectful to the ops. On January the 9th, 2019, Mimo 600 and King Von would drop their new track, Exposing Me, and in the song Von mentions Wooski getting shot in the head. He says that he's put in so much work in the street that Get Back Gang will now look out for him. He says outright that he was a killer before the rap, and saying, "I swear I killed her, broke her back," a possible reference to K.I.'s murder, he would say that he's smoking Tuka and Lil Mark, and Von even shouts out an old friend from O-Block, DQ, as his shooter, suggesting that he will call a hit and have DQ shoot someone for him. It seemed like the more violent and real Von's music got, the more fans flocked to him. But since the success of his crazy story, and being brought under the wing of successful Chicago drill rap legend Lil Durk, Von was spending a lot of time away from the mean streets of Chicago that he had rapped about, instead beginning to get used to living the high life of a successful rapper like Durk. Rather than jumping in stolen cars and doing drills, Von was seen with Durk jumping off of luxury yachts, seemingly surrounded by people who knew his reputation well.
Okay, Durk, yo, it's on you now. This Durk scared. This scared. Okay, Von. This scared. Yeah, I'm a bitch. Look at Von. He too scared. Get wild, B-Roy. They talking about Von, he scared to jump. They out here talking about you, all that savage, and you scared to jump in the water.
But all of the success Von was seeing didn't seem to change who he really was underneath. It seemed like Durk was doing his best to take a killer out of a dangerous environment and turn him into a good person and a rapper. But perhaps Lil Durk didn't realise that he was also inviting that killer energy into his legitimate rap career. Because on February the 5th, 2019, around 5:49 AM, Lil Durk and King Von were allegedly outside Atlanta restaurant The Varsity. Here, an altercation would take place in the parking lot where allegedly Lil Durk and King Von, along with fellow OTF affiliate THF Bezu and another Chicago native named Hella Bands, would allegedly shoot and rob a man by the name of Alexander Witherspoon, allegedly targeting him for $30,000 cash that he had on him at the time. Detectives would later claim that a video showed Lil Durk shooting out of his own personal car, a custom Jeep Trackhawk with a camouflage wrap and a large 300 on the sign that he was known to own. Durk had even posted clips of this car to Twitter with the caption, "Spin, spin," clips which even Von himself had reposted. Cops would be seen analysing the scene after the shooting, and the local news would report on the shooting before even becoming aware of these famous rappers' involvement.
Police found several shell casings in this parking lot. The Varsity was closed at the time this happened, around 5:45 this morning, but this club across Spring Street was open, and one patron who was parked in the Varsity lot to go to that club told me what he went through. The man from Chicago, who goes by Gutta, returned to the Varsity parking lot this afternoon to change the tire and assess the damage on his cousin's car after it was hit by bullets.
Tired, exhausted, wild night. I'm just happy I'm alive, basically, so that's really what my main focus is.
He had just paid the cover to get into one cigar lounge across Spring Street when he heard the shots outside around 5:45 a.m. He says people hit the floor and he hid in a bathroom. Police say a 23-year-old man was in serious condition when he was rushed to the hospital after the shooting. They are now looking for a dark-colored SUV. They are doing anything they can to help Atlanta police.
The afternoon after the shooting, Von would post up on Twitter with a handful of cash and a gun on the couch next to him. Later on, posting a tweet saying you never know who's gonna snitch when the cops come. Then, the day after the shooting, Von would tweet asking if you can be a killer and a good person too. A few days later, on February the 9th, 2019, Von would be seen in the background on an Instagram Live with Asian Doll, with Von talking to his friend on the phone, possibly about this very shooting. He would seemingly be telling his friend that he thinks he made all of the wrong moves, and saying that the cops are now watching him.
Now you know I ain't trying to do none of this. Oh dude, that is so fluky. We just did the wrong shit. That's why I tell you, I gotta get it together. That shit was fool. You just feel like you made all the wrong moves, on mistake. We just was tweaking on foot, that shit, We just got to be tighter last time for them. Nah, you understand? See that look? See, that's the part I was saying. Like, everybody be tweaking with me on, Jason, them all of my head tweaking with me, talking about this, that, and that. But I ain't letting you know that. I'm just letting them tweak with me and trying to make sure everything decent. But all the time, you don't be seeing all that part, man. I'm arguing with the man about putting on. I'm arguing about the man at the show. I'm arguing with the man on the stage. I'm arguing with the man airworking. And you think I'm just,
They talking about where the fuck he get that accent.
Yeah, they be tweaking with me, boy. I'm feeling like that's what I'm doing.
I don't understand him sometimes, y'all. Either.
Man, you worry about the run. That's little shit, man. That's what nothing you needed to think about it, talk about. Just everything happened to you that day. Oh, that one shit. Yeah, I know that I'm swinging in the truck with us on phone when I get out right there. But I'm high and thinking about it.
But clearly, Von wasn't too worried about the cops watching, because he would tweet on February the 21st that he was ready to catch another body. And the day after, Von jumps on a reckless IG Live with fans, showing off all the money he had apparently made from features, dissing Tuka, and saying that he's not a rapper, just a gangster who raps for the money.
Hey, this beach, man, you know, I just picked this up, little folks. What, you about to drink some, smoke some? Nah, I'm gonna smoke Tuka. You know who Tuka is? No, what is that? That's him. He been dead for a long time. You don't know Tuka. The rapper! Man, I'm not a rapper, man. See, they think I'm a hoe. Nah, I'm a gangster. I just rap because they be giving me money for it.
While cops were slowly piecing together the facts about the shooting, Von was continuing with his rap career, without sparing a thought to how much self-incrimination he was doing to himself at the time. On February the 28th, Von drops a feature on Dari's song, Gang Only, where he raps he has a lot of bodies, even saying that on his first murder, the victim thought it was a robbery. Around a week later, on March the 5th, 2019, King Von's song Wait unofficially leaks. That track has some brazen lyrics, where he says that he has more bodies than the killer from Scream, as well as admitting that he shot up Dunbar School with L.A. Capone, something he had tweeted about prior. He would also say that he remembers his first murder and saying that he missed a bunch of shots, but now his aim is better. And while these demonic tracks are circulating online, King Von and Lil Durk are having a great time flexing on Instagram Live and fighting over who has the most money and designer clothing.
Hey, you saw me flexing earlier?
No, man, I was too big.
Nickname Popeye. Popeye, no spinach. Yeah. Come on. Hold on.
I was too busy. No.
Get your what?
I just
what?
know.
What?
Damn. I don't play. I just married myself to death.
You flies.
That's no matter though. You over there with 20 on?
Huh?
You over there with $20?
Don't try to count my money. Don't count my pockets on phone number. Hey, what you on though? Damn. You do it too much. Them BBS's and them things.
That's a couple belts.
Hey, I'm saying.
$5.50 a piece.
You still flexing?
Hey, got these Chanel right here.
Later on in this live, Von would joke to Lil Durk, saying that he was smoking on Lil Mark and Tuka.
I'm right here kicking with Lil Mark. Dirty ass. Damn. Marky.
That shit we so much yesterday, man.
Marky.
I never would sleep in the studio.
Lil Mark. Tuka, nigga, y'all know what the f going on. I don't know about this.
But at this point, King Von was playing huge concerts to massive crowds, and selling verses to other rappers all over the country and making headlines in major rap publications. King Von would tweet around this time that he was scared to go back to jail and hoping that he wasn't making the wrong decisions, and suggesting that he was worried that if he did go back to jail, all his new friends would leave him behind. But no matter how far Von got into the rap industry, he just couldn't stop toting guns and thugging. At the end of March, Von was seen riding around with Lil Durk, toting a big strap for any ops that might pull up, even joking about having more bodies than anyone in the car and saying that he's about to get indicted and go to jail for a long time.
Stop playing. Playing.
They back on? Are they right? Yeah. Up and down we go.
Come here.
Cut this low back up, man. He get excited in this.
Late.
It's over. Look, you know I'm coming out. Look.
After this, Durk had whoever was behind the wheel driving incredibly fast in that Jeep Trackhawk, with Von seemingly in fear of his life and joking that his gun is about to go off.
That's up good.
Up and down we go.
Oh, here go crazy. And this whole king.
Whoa.
Riding in that steam, in that two-seater, riding with a thought. Damn, you ain't no get through this, cuz. Hey, what you gonna do? Stop! Stop doing that, man.
Put this motherfucker down.
Stop playing, man. It's time, man. I quit.
Nah, cuz. You drag.
This sick, this go on.
You got it on the drive, cuz.
It's a truck.
Man.
Oh, my, it's working out.
I'll talk to my fans for this. Yeah.
I love y'all. Hey, everybody on here. I want to say I love y'all.
What you talking about, boy? Hold on.
Oh, man,
slow down, cuz.
Where you going? Slow down.
Slow down, cuz.
I'm gonna get off now.
me this was gonna work. Hey, cuz y'all motherfucker been scared as hell. Doing 300 on that motherfucker.
I'm sweating.
Your life flash before your eyes. Hey, Chopper, so y'all scream. He said, shut the f up.
What happened? My seatbelt on. Hey, back seat with my. Damn, my seatbelt don't work.
Hey, tell
Seatbelts in this
work.
Huh?
Chopper, so shut your crybaby ass
I
up.
better get this young ass on. It's gonna be fucking cool. Oh, there you go.
Your seatbelt broke. You hear that motherfucker? Yeah. Seatbelts don't work in this car. You trying to put the seatbelt on, bro?
Yeah, but I'm moving around on the back seat.
I wouldn't chase me in this.
My Glock 10. Down the ride to my area.
Now you back talking that games. You just screaming. You just screaming like a little.
Ain't no with me.
You just screaming. He texted you talking, I love you, bro. How's I'm gonna read it, motherfucker? We both gonna be out there.
Dirk and Von were clearly living the fast life at this point, and seemingly having faced no consequences so far for the shooting at the Varsity nearly 2 months before. However, rumours would continue to swirl about their involvement in serious crimes. On the 31st of March 2019, King Von is seen hanging out with Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, who is signed to Baton Rouge rapper NBA Youngboy, with Quando appearing in a clip on King Von's Instagram where he would diss Von's ops on 63rd.
I'm saying though, they got 63rd. Dirty ass. Man. Hey, listen, though, man. 64, y'all 63rd over there.
It seems that back then, Von and Quando Rondo's camps were pretty cool with each other. That very same night that he was with Quando, Von is seen hanging out and hitting the stage with Lil Durk. Von would tweet a picture with Dirk, along with a caption saying they've got to stay focused because their enemies envy them. The same day these pictures were taken, an altercation would take place at the Hidden Village Apartments complex in Atlanta. A man named Tyreek Livat was shot dead, with the news reporting a total of 5 people shot, the result of a huge shootout. Apparently, a large fight had broken out between 2 large groups, and an hour after the fight, one group who had left and returned got into it again and begun shooting, with 5 people being hit in the altercation, and Tyreek, unfortunately losing his life, being found dead by police in the parking lot around 10:30 p.m. The police would say that the shooter goes by a nickname, but refused to disclose it to the press, with reports on this incident making it to the TV news the following day.
Now to a developing story. A shooting leaves 1 person dead, 4 others injured. This happened at an apartment complex in southwest Atlanta. Latasha Givens is live outside of Grady Memorial Hospital. Latasha, what are we learning about their conditions this morning?
Well, Christy, police tell us this all started at a house party last night on Landrum Drive. They tell us a fight broke out between 2 large groups, and at some point a man opened fire, hitting 5 people. Let's take a look at some of that video from last night. Police tell us 1 man was found dead at the party, while 4 others were rushed here to Grady. We're told the victims' ages range from 17 to 20, and the victims are all male. Investigators are trying to determine a motive and what happened leading up to that shooting.
After this, a rumor would circulate suggesting that King Von and THF Bezu had something to do with the shooting. However, Lil Durk would tweet never, just a couple of hours after the body was discovered, followed by tweeting protect the money at all costs the morning after. Von would tweet the following morning that you can do everything right and they're still going to find a way to bring you down, dissing somebody that he doesn't name. Meanwhile, another member of their entourage, Mimo600, would tweet the day after saying that people will end up on the news. For the record, there's never been any concrete evidence to indicate that Von, Dirk, Bezu, or any of their entourage had anything to do with this killing, and Tyreek Livat's cousin would actually do a YouTube interview saying that he also doesn't believe that Von had anything to do with the killing either.
They said King Von killed your cousin.
That's what they saying. I don't believe it, but honestly, I think they be just attaching King Von name. I don't see it. I don't see it. You know, you could be with Dirk with all these fancy and you know what I'm saying. Then you over there, like. You know what I'm saying? Then it don't add up.
It's highly likely that this incident had nothing to do with Von and Dirk, but that didn't stop people all over the internet making King Von body count articles and videos speculating as to whether King Von was responsible for this murder too. None of this proves Von was involved, but what it does prove is that even if he wasn't involved, his reputation as a shooter would have the fans and public pointing the finger at him regularly. But as the weeks went by, Von would continue to go about his life, whilst the cops would continue building the case related to the original shooting at the Varsity. On April the 1st, the victim...
It will stop there and come back. I don't know what he's... I don't know what, like... It seems a couple of these things that he's, like they say, attached to King Von. He really didn't have nothing to do with it. But in saying that, from what you've seen of him, if an altercation is gonna, but mind you, saying that, didn't he die not shooting? Did he beat someone up and get shot? Yeah, I don't know. I think this is. I mean, some of it's good and that, and I think it's clear that he did do it. But then other shit, I think they're just tagging him in. This kind of happens as well. Like my nephews is like that. Once you get a reputation, people just like literally, if something happens around here, the police go straight to my sister's house, and it ain't one of them boys, but they just think it's an excuse to go and kind of stick something on them. But I don't know. Yeah, it's the same as the other thing is. I know a story in my area that someone got attacked by a machete, and then the way they put it in the um, newspaper was it was a gang fight. It wasn't a gang fight. It was just someone owed someone money that they couldn't pay. Had nothing to do with a gang. Right? This really ain't a gang area like that. But someone did get. If you'd have heard, if you'd have took, like, without being in this area, without knowing people involved, you would think of all-out gang war happened at the shops in my area, and it's like it didn't happen like that. It was literally one person against someone else that owed someone. It's like kind of nothing to do with any gang, anything. But the way they portrayed it in the news was, yeah, it was an all-out gang brawl. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. But that's part 3. Sweet.